Tonight, dozens of people are still unaccounted for after that condo collapse in Surfside, Florida.
Today, crews finding more bodies buried beneath the debris and rubble. The death toll now stands at 152 still unaccounted for after Thursday's collapse. As the search for survivors continues, the big question that is on everyone's mind is how this all happened in the first place. Joining us tonight to talk about the scene unfolding in Florida tonight is Dr. Kit Miyamoto, a structural engineer and also the head of the California Seismic Safety Commission. Dr. Miyamoto, thank you for joining us here on KRON 4 News Today.
Thank you.
So first off, your expertise is in seismic safety, and while we don't know what caused the condo collapse in Florida, with your expertise, when you look at the debris, do you get any sense of what could have happened? Because they're saying that it pancaked instead of maybe falling in on top of it or going sideways. Like, what does that tell you about what could have caused this?
Well, myself and our team probably assessed the over 500,000 earthquake damage or collapsed buildings all over the world for the last about 15 years. And I mean, this just looking through the video and the plans and reports, what they produced from this particular incident, it's a really classic failure of the columns, which is the pillar or post you call, supporting the floors. Well, sorry, on top of it, it's really heavy structure. And if that thing just fails, everything comes down. So it's a really typical form of it. And these columns are spaced about 25 feet each way to support the flat slab. That's about 8 inch thick of a concrete slab. So it's a really heavy structure. And about one of them report, a 2018 report down for this site to basically investigate in the structural integrity of it, showing a lot of so-called rust in a reinforcement of a concrete. So they see a lot of the reinforcement be rusted and the crack caused by that causes cracks in the concrete and slabs, especially at the ground level and the columns. And so that's what they discovered in 2018. And the engineer rightfully recommended to essentially remedy these elements. And they were in the middle of it. 2021 April, which is essentially 3 months ago, they actually produced the plans, very extensive plans, to basically prevent or eliminate this type of the water intrusion to the structure itself.
You're referring to this 2018 report that had just come out, where they're saying there was some $9 million worth of repairs that needed to be happening. The ground floor pool deck of the building was resting on concrete that had major structural damages. They saw problems with beams and in the walls and in the parking garage, but the report didn't warn of any imminent danger. They didn't think that there was anything that was going to happen right away. So what could have happened between 2018 and what happened last week?
Well, 2018 report is very clear in terms of engineering, showing that something has to be done right away. Otherwise, that so-called reinforcement deterioration caused by the oxidation, essentially rusting through, need to be stopped immediately. This is something that that report, was very definite about that. And unfortunately, that's 3 years ago. That's a long time.
It is a very long time.
Now, yeah, it is a long time. So it's obviously whatever happened 3 years ago, right now it's definitely much worse than 3 years ago. So that's what the real issue is here.
Dr. Miyamoto, there is also a second tower that is at that same location. Two questions for you. Should there be concern of the possible failure or a collapse with the second tower that's still standing? And should other developers and other buildings be using this as an opportunity to be taking a look at their own buildings right now?
Well, it so depends, right? If you see the aerial picture of the two buildings, the South and North Tower, and one that's collapsed, if it's a roofing of it, it's much worse than the one which is still standing. So it's every building has a different maintenance, patterns and procedures. So just looking from an air for roofing point of view, it seems like it's better maintained buildings, but you have to kind of get in there. I know that county went in and they saw that there's no major hazard they saw right on the spot. So, every building is different. But again, there's a maintenance issue and the rust and deterioration of the reinforcement is really common in the area, by the way. It's really common. I mean, you see every single building, you see older ones, you see things like that.
So
but this particular building.
So could something like that happen anywhere at any time? Is there a chance that a high rise in San Francisco could just crumble just like that?
No. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have earthquakes here, okay? And earthquakes regulation makes the building much more strong, much more robust, much more redundant. So therefore, what we saw out there, it was something hard to happen right here. It's a difference of how the reinforcements laid out, how the details of laid out. It's completely different. So let's say if the Miami had an earthquake, right? And if they followed, say, California rules, I don't think that happened actually. So it's definitely unfortunately we have earthquakes here, but fortunately our building stock is much more stout per se, or stronger than the one you find out there.
Dr. Miyamoto, we know that search teams have been on the ground there for 4 days now, combing through the rubble, trying to find any survivors. They are still hopeful that there are survivors beneath all of this rubble. With every day that does continue to pass, obviously that does dwindle a little bit more. What are the chances at this point that they will be able to find any survivors? Just based off of the video, Justine was talking about how the building has basically just pancaked in.
Yeah, well, first of all, the Urban Search and Rescue Team in Miami-Dade County is considered to be one of the best in the world, as the LA County one, by the way. They're international certified, the Urban Search and Rescue Team. So I have no doubt in my mind they are using the best technique, best technology available to doing just that, right? But the one study done after the Kobe earthquake, Japanese researchers looked at fatality. What is the actual, after they lost about 6,000 people, and most people die after 4 minutes. That's how they actually figure it out, because as you can see, once you buried into it, you get injured. And after 4 minutes, you just don't survive. So that's it. That's a fact. At the same time, I've been in dozens of major earthquakes, and I've seen it. The people get rescued after days. So there's definitely the hope there. Just no question about it. And I think Urban Search and Rescue Team, they're risking their own lives to basically get to the people. That's what they're doing today.
Yeah.
There is still hope.
Yeah.
Indeed. Dr. Kit Miyamoto with the California Seismic Safety Commission, thank you for the time and the knowledge here on KRON 4 News at 8 o'clock this Sunday night.
Thank you.